Hey guys, and welcome back to Sensory Overload. It's time to come to your motherfucking senses. He recorded the whole fucking conversation after he'd fucking cheated, begged for him to tell me if anything had happened. Who the fuck did I date? You know what? I think this was like the last thing that I wanted to happen. Holy shit. The last week of my life has been not only traumatizing, scary, but so full on. I moved from Gold Coast to back to Sydney, and I didn't realize how much shit I fucking had. Like, I had a 2-bedroom apartment. I didn't realize there was that much shit in there. Like, I fully stored all my stuff in storage. Everything was fully in there, and I tried to sell so much on Marketplace. Thank God I did, because it wouldn't have fit. It literally wouldn't have. But we're all done now. But I'm like still like dealing with the aftermath of like the bong clean and all that shit, as everybody does. But it's just been pretty hectic. And like in the middle of this, we all this shit got posted on on TikTok. All of my exes, just any dirty laundry is out there now. And when you're going through a breakup, I didn't want to have all my dirty laundry on the internet. I really didn't. Even though it seems like I share so much on the internet, I still try to keep it like pretty private and relatively to like the interpersonal stuff that happens in my relationships, my friendships, my actual life. There's so much I still don't talk about. This story is going to be a big one. Like, this is really fucked up. Like, what has come out about this person has really scared me to believe who the fuck was I actually dating. Because this isn't the person I dated. This is not that same person. And the fact that somebody's capable of these things, these lies, like, I'm shook. I'm going to take you through everything because, as you would have seen on any previous episodes about my breakup, I have been so respectful, regardless of actually what happened, which I'm going to tell you. I'm going to fucking tell you. Fuck it. I'm going to tell you what actually happened to go on that break and then the breakup. I'm going to just be so transparent because everything I've said before has been to protect him and protect the relationship. But for some reason, he feels the need to make it so public and make the comments and then tell me that it's me. Like, it's actually just been crazy. And I think nobody talks about that one love that makes you feel so safe, that there really is good people out there. And it's the love that everybody tells you you should have. And then just one day they break you into a million different pieces. I really didn't think that this would ever fucking happen. Like, when I was going through the breakup, I was like, worst case scenario, he fucks a bunch of people. Fuck it, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Like, well, I care because I was like, no, it should only be me. You should only be thinking about me, wanting me. And that was like the worst case scenario. Little did I know, or would I ever think, that he would move on in 3 weeks, start posting another person, lying to me, and everything fucking else I found out after I posted that video. It's sickening. It's disgusting. I wouldn't do that to my worst enemy, honestly. What I felt in that last week was actually just insane. I still feel like after all of this has happened and what has gone on, which I'm going to get into, and this is going to be a longer episode because there's so much fucking to this. It just goes to show, though, how much I truly was in love and how much I fell in love with their soul. Because even after all of these things and how I've been treated and what has been done to me, there's still that part of me that still loves him so much and that still wants him to be the person I thought and always imagined that he could be or that he was. And I don't know if it's like a thing with me mentally that I just can't hold grudges against people. Like, this person has done the worst things to me and I still can't hold a grudge against it. There's still that part of me that wants to just like nurture and make sure he's okay. But this is why I went to therapy, because that's not my problem. That's not my issue anymore. And I think, you know, after what the comments have been, and to call me crazy after all of this, I'm not allowing somebody to do this. And I see it so much with men specifically, especially in like female to male relationships. And now I've experienced it in the male to male relationship, where these men would do the most diabolical things and then scare their ex-partners for ever telling the truth. And that's not something I ever want to be a part of. And yeah, I've been threatened with legal action about speaking the truth and speaking about what happened. As somebody who posts their whole life on the internet, as somebody who talks about every aspect of my life to some degree, and that whole relationship that I shared was so public. And whether those reasons were right or wrong, I don't know on his behalf, but it's gone so far beyond that now for what the initial, I guess, context of it coming onto the internet was. I literally, like, I couldn't give a fuck about it. Like, I really could not give a fuck that he's moved on with this Eurovision singer. Like, I don't even know if they're dating. Apparently, they only met a week ago. Like, what? Like, what the actual fuck? And I just think when you go through a breakup, like, obviously your ex tries to get a reaction out of you. They try to get under your skin. They try to dig into you. But this is like far beyond anything that has ever happened to me in my life. I'm going to give you a recap for those that don't know, haven't seen what's on the internet. There has been, obviously, my very public relationship that I had with my ex, a lot of scandalous TikToks, a lot of scandalous news articles, all these fan pages making edits of this new relationship. And when I originally seen it, like, obviously I crashed out. I was like, what the fuck? And I actually didn't crash out about the post because I'd already seen the post about him with somebody else. We had this thing in our relationship where we like had this joint playlist. It was so special to the both of us. These songs were down to like meanings of my mum, and, you know, one of the songs is Birthday Cake, and it was about a parent dying, and I think it's their best friend telling them that, like, love like nobody's watching. You know, it had like a really deep sentiment to me when I was on the plane once, and that song played, and I'd listened to that song so many times before in my life, so many times. And this one song, after I got into my relationship, came on, and I was like, whoa, is this a sign from my mum to say, like, this is the one? I really thought, and it meant so much to me, and it was like such a, you know, significant part of our relationship. And to see him recreate that playlist with somebody else, like, he had created a whole nother playlist with this other guy, and like, I was like, there's no fucking way. That's what shook me, because we'd broken up 5 weeks prior to this. Okay, there's two separate timelines. We'd broken up 5 weeks prior, and we're gonna get into the reasons. In 2 weeks, like, obviously that 2 weeks of that was very like hot and cold. Like, you know, we were calling every day, but then we wouldn't speak for 3 days, and we'd message, you know, all of that kind of things. We tried to do no contact. It was really hard. And I went to Bali, and I was like, nah, I need to heal. I need to get away. Literally every time I'm on the flight, something fucked happens. Every fucking time, anywhere I go. But on this particular flight, I was flying to Bali, and my phone loads up when I land, and there's a bunch of very questionable comments like on my whole TikTok. I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, somebody sends it to me, and he had commented about the breakup. Like, he'd made a video about studying and going through a breakup at the same time. He was replying to comments about me talking to other boys in the whole relationship, which is diabolical, because once you find out what actually happened and what the fuck he did, you're about, the projection is insane. But he put out a lot of intimate details about our relationship that had never been online before. Nothing had been on there. I messaged him, and I broke no contact, and we sorted it out. We were fine. And then for the next like week or so, like, he was telling me like he doesn't see a future that I'm not a part of, and he was still coming to Sydney in September, and he was going to move here, and we'd see each other, we'd hand over each other's stuff, kind of implying that it was like a reunion, which I'm taking now as breadcrumbing. Like, he was trying to breadcrumb me to keep me attached to him. And this is what a lot of people do when they go through a breakup. They want their exes to still be attached, but then they want to eat their cake too and fuck off and do their own thing. After all of this kind of like all of that happened, my comments were just now filled because so many people had seen that about apparently me cheating, all of this stuff. And there was all these comments about me cheating, which is diabolical. Just wait for the fucking story time. But there was all of these comments, and I think I addressed it in a podcast or in a video. I'm not too sure, but I did address it. And I was like, there was no cheating. Nobody well, I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. I never cheated. Still kept it so respectful after this. And then after he was telling me there's no future without you in it, he posted another guy 3 weeks later who was a Eurovision singer. And when I tell you posted him, like I had him blocked and everything, and somehow it's still coming up on my feed. He was posting that so fucking much. Like that my whole DMs, everything. I was getting fan page edits. I was getting fan page follows. I was getting comments on all my stuff. It got so fucking much. And this is where I say everything fucking happens for a reason. Because if this didn't happen, I would have then made my post addressing it. I just couldn't deal with it. I was going through so much. And he knew how much I was going through. Like that was a big part of when we went on a break before we broken up of me struggling. And I just felt really disrespected. I felt there was no consideration for the once like obviously beautiful relationship I thought we had. And I'd messaged him and I was like, what has happened? Why is this getting posted so soon? We agreed that we wouldn't post like dating stuff. And I went to therapy, and I also set boundaries for myself and what I wanted in a future person out of the actions of him because of what was posted online prior and what I didn't want to happen again in the future. So all of that got posted, obviously got sent to me. I made that video. It turned into like this fucking massive thing. I don't know how it turned into this massive thing. My initial reason for the video was to just be like, don't send me his shit. If he's moved on, he's moved on. Like it's really hard for me to see, obviously, but please don't send it to me. So fresh. How anybody can heal in 5 weeks, let alone 3 weeks, is beyond me. And that is another question that I will always wonder because I intend to never communicate and be involved with this person ever again. It sent me into a spiral. I did not eat for 3 days. I had no appetite. I was so sick. I was vomiting. It just sent me into a realm of anxiety and stress that I've never felt in my life. And I don't wish that upon anybody. My whole body was shaking. My mind was just running 24/7. I literally have never, ever experienced anything like that before. It was worse than when my mum passed away. When my mum passed away, there was no changing that. Nothing I could do to bring her back as much as it sucked. And I literally could not do fucking anything about that. But this whole scenario felt so purposeful and so malice that knowing somebody else is doing that to me and knowing that somebody doesn't respect me enough to even communicate with me effectively, nicely about my feelings, it hurt and cut on such a deep level that I've never, ever felt before. If I'm going to be honest about the whole situation and how it went down, I think I need to start from the start and let you know kind of the truth of actually what happened and how it happened. And hopefully this helps somebody else. Obviously, I think these things are inevitable. You have to go through these heartbreaks and these journeys of being hurt to understand yourself deeper, know your own worth, and come out the other side. I gave my heart and soul to absolutely everything that I did in this relationship. And if that isn't reciprocated and what I originally thought the relationship was, then I can learn from that and move on to be a better person for my next relationship, for somebody who does fucking deserve me and that does want to treat me the way that I should be treated. Me and my ex-boyfriend, we met on Hinge. I don't even know how to explain it. Like the butterflies I felt on the first date was something I've never experienced in my life. It was so magical and it felt so special and the connection was just there immediately for me at least, this is speaking from my perspective, because honestly, I don't know what the fuck this man is even thinking or doing. I don't think he even knows what he's thinking or doing. And I was like, wow, like I could potentially see myself with this person. This just felt so right, so easy. I guess we went on a few dates. We started, talking every day, seeing each other. Mind you, he was on exchange in Australia, and I didn't know the full circumstances of any of this. I just was like falling with my heart and my soul. And I've never been in a relationship before, like an exclusive official relationship. So the thought of that actually coming in and happening was so foreign to me. Kind of going into it, I was maybe a little bit naive into what I was actually giving to somebody and what I was offering, I guess, to somebody else. We had a falling out. He was meant to come to a party and I dropped my stuff off at his house. And then I went to the party. He was studying and doing a test, and then he was coming to the party. Shit randomly hit the fan. I had made a TikTok with somebody else who I was also like seeing at the time at this party, having like the best time. I was talking to all my friends like, I'm so excited for him to come. He's going to like show up. He's like coming later. He calls me and he's just like rambling on about, I actually can't remember the phone call because I was so distressed, but he told me that I couldn't stay at his house anymore. He didn't want to start, he was seeing somebody else too. He didn't want to be sleeping with two people at the same time, and that it doesn't think it's the best idea, and pretty much didn't want me there. And I was like, what the fuck? He sent my stuff in an Uber from his house to the party and left me in a whole another city with like literally nowhere to go. I lived in the Gold Coast. This was in North Brisbane. And thankfully my friends were there and they drove me home. But I was like, what the fuck? We ended up catching up and talking about it. He started wanting to see this other person. I was like, that's fine. I'm never going to allow somebody to treat me like that when I don't know what happened in 2 hours. Like literally what the fuck happened in that time. We kind of stopped speaking. He started seeing somebody else. 6-8 weeks of just like, we're going to be friends. It was like, fine. It was like, whatever. And then I just like kept thinking about him. I kept thinking about how he was and who he was and how he made me feel. I was like, this is not done. I just knew that it wasn't done yet. I seen him on somebody else's story and I messaged him being like, how are you? And he messaged me that night being like, Pav, question mark. I was like, what the fuck? You at the Pav? He's like, yeah. I said, well, I'm not going out. Do you want me to come get you? He's like, yeah. So I picked him up and that's how we started talking. I then find out that he was staying at a Airbnb with his friends that night. I dropped him off at like 2 a.m. I didn't think anything of it. We like stayed in contact. It wasn't until when we started dating, I actually dropped him off to another fucking guy's house he was staying at while he was in the Gold Coast that he was fucking. Like I can deal with the truth. I can deal with honesty. I can't deal with fucking liars. And this was something that just like irked me at the start of the relationship where I was just like, why lie about that? Why would I ever have any significance into you owing me anything when we just like randomly called up that night? Or just Uber yourself to that house. Don't get me to drop you fucking off. And our relationship was just like, it was just so beautiful. I just can't even explain the level of love I was feeling. And like, obviously it felt really quick and fast, but I was just allowing myself just to feel whatever it was. We ended up going to a Halloween party. It was magical. It was beautiful. I actually think this might be the one, guys. This might be the fucking one. Little did I know what was actually going to happen in this fucking relationship. It was like a little bit after that he told me he needed to move back to Norway. He had his visa until January, but this is like November. And if he didn't have anywhere to stay, he was going to go back to Norway. He had a few options with his friends. They've offered things. And I was like, well, we were exclusive at this point. There's no way you're moving back to Norway. Like, I'm going to obviously let you stay at mine, which I think looking back now, like that was me, sacrificing for the relationship and offering something to make it work. And I'm so glad I did. But he ended up moving in and we ended up spending, Christmas together. We ended up spending like New Year's together. We were just in each other's pockets so much. And it was really getting to me. I love my space and I love my alone time as much as I love being with people, but I need my alone time and I need my sanctuary. My house is my sanctuary. We ended up going to BTV and he had started a new TikTok account, and we were like obviously posting our relationship. And it wasn't until this moment where I was like, maybe there's an ulterior motive, because everybody, his friends included, were coming up to me telling me, oh, he's just telling us about how he's just hit 10K followers and this and that. And I was like, why the fuck does he what? Why? Like, why is that? Not that it's not something to brag about or like be happy to achieve or whatever. Why is that such like a visceral part of the topic of conversation? And I'm very wary of people obviously wanting things out of me. I think anybody that does this job is very wary. When it gets to obviously a relationship that you're posting online, it was starting to get too much. And the lines get blurred. I wasn't sure what was healthy and what wasn't healthy in terms of posting each other. But that was like my first red flag. I had surprised him with a whole trip down to Melbourne to BTV. I paid for the flights. I paid for the hotel. I paid for I didn't pay for the tickets. I got the tickets for free, but they were $4,000 tickets each. I, got the car pass. I got almost everything down for that trip. And everything was just accumulating so much in my soul that I was just like, there's no gratefulness at all. Like there wasn't a thank you. There wasn't, oh my God, thank you so much for doing that. Let me get you an orange juice for this. Like I just wanted an OJ. It just out of a thank you. There was like nothing that I felt. And I like expressed that to him after that whole trip. And he was like, obviously like very sorry. We had a really good chat and we kind of set some boundaries with us in that relationship to work on together to make sure that, we weren't spending every fucking day with each other. We were doing our own things still. Like we all both had our own lives, but it was so hard because he was about to leave for Norway. So I was like, well, I want to spend as much time with you as I possibly can. It got to him leaving, which we were only doing I think it was 5 weeks of long distance in this stint of not seeing each other. And then I was going over there and we're like, it was fine. It was chill. He left. We were talking every single day, but he was partying so much, like so much. I was like, in the back of my head was like, why is this man at a after party until 6 a.m. in the morning with his shirt off in the middle of winter in Norway? Red flag number 736. And I remember talking to one of my friends and I was like, should I be worried? I spoke to him, nothing. Like he reassured me, it was sweet. I had that trust. I've never gone through his following. I've never looked through his likes, nothing. I was so trustworthy of him in that long distance. To think of him possibly cheating on me was like not even a question. I just didn't think he would be capable of that. We got through that first part of long distance, and I'm going to come back to this long distance. This holds a very significant part of the relationship. Oh, I still look, I look back after finding all of this out, and I'm just like, I was a fucking idiot. I was a fucking idiot. Like, how did I not see it? I had no idea anything had happened, and I flew over to Norway, pulled away 3 weeks away from work to go over there and just like spend time with him. We were obviously spending every day with each other. He had time off uni. It was going to be beautiful. It was meant to be, the best thing when you don't see your person for 5 weeks, like you get to see them. And when we got there, I just felt so good. I met his parents. I met his whole family. It was like beautiful. It was, I can't even begin to explain it. It just felt so healing to me. Obviously I don't have any parents. So to go to Norway and, meet my partner's parents, you kind of just, I guess, romanticize it. His mum was so beautiful. Like his family is the most beautiful people ever, which like sucks. I guess they're like the kind of people, the in-laws that you would always dream of having. His mum reminded me so much of my mum, so much. It was like literally made me so teary when I was over there. I just felt so safe. And finally, something was going to work out for me, and something was going to feel like I had a place and I had a support, and he had all that support and I didn't. And I just felt so welcomed. It was meant to be what was meant to be the most beautiful future. Obviously happened a bit differently, but obviously when you're going through that, you're like, wow, like this is going to be amazing. We had a lot of chats in Norway of what the relationship would look like after. I have a friend who did long distance with her partner. I only like spoke to them about it, got some advice. We had briefly spoken about kind of an open relationship. Briefly mentioned that before he left, but we were like, no, that's not, we're not going to do that. We wanted to try be as committed to each other as we possibly could for as long as we could. And if something needed to change in the relationship or something needed to happen, that would be something that we would discuss. It came up to that discussion when we were in there, and he was getting really angry at me, like really fucking angry. Of like, we spoke about it. He was like, you just want to have sex with people. You just want to do this. And I was like, fuck, maybe it got to the point where I was like, maybe I do want that. Like maybe like a committed relationship isn't for me, because I just felt so gaslit into thinking that's exactly what I want. And I kept like reiterating that I don't want this. Like, I don't want this. I just want us to work out, and I want to do anything I possibly can to make sure that happens. And I don't want there to be resentment, and I don't want there to be hardship in doing long distance. Like, we need to get through this. We kind of like agreed that, and that, mind you, this is the end, like the start of March when I was leaving Norway. If something were to change, we would discuss it. You know, we'll discuss it in that moment if one of us felt like that, and neither one of us really felt like that. But that trip was definitely, it was different, and it showed me a very different side of him that I hadn't seen before. Seeing him in his element with his friends, the person that he's always been outside of Australia, was very interesting. I could see that there was a problem. There was something that just wasn't right. We went out to a club, and mind you, I'm going to say this with the utmost respect, but we went out to a club, and it was for one of his friends' birthdays, and we're there and we're dancing on the dance floor. It was fine. This girl kind of like pushes him or shoves him, and I think he shoved her back, and then we started dancing again, and she grabbed the collar of him. And in Australia, like, obviously if a girl like does that, you kind of just like, you say something. You don't put your hands on them. You don't do anything. She grabbed his collar and like yanked it. And I just remember seeing him turn around and fully kick this girl. Like, I'm going to say for the start of this video, push this girl with his foot. And I just remember seeing the dance floor just open up, and I was like, what is happening? All these people ended up jumping in and was like, what the fuck? Going off at him, his friends going off at her, and I was like, what the fuck? I like moved him away, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck just happened? And then like this girl is trying to come like push through, and I was like, just stay there, darling, just chill. Anyway, her and her friends ended up leaving, left shortly after. And I was like, what the fuck did you just do? You don't do that to somebody. I don't care what she did. You're a man. And you're 6'4", mate. This girl's like 5'3". Like, that is such excessive force, and it just makes you look bad. And he was just explaining how he was defending himself and yada, yada, yada. I still didn't think it was right. Messaged my neighbor, and I was like, this just happened. Like, I don't know how to go about this. Like, that's just something I don't stand for. I understand that somebody might want to protect themselves and defend themselves, but at the same time, never think physically hurting or like physically using force is ever necessary. Not for a man to a man, not to a girl to a girl, not to a male to a girl, girl to a male. Never. That could have been handled so differently. And that night, obviously, I was upset at that. And there was a few things that happened that night. I just couldn't believe it. Like, I just never thought that he would be somebody that would do that or would consider doing that in order to defend themselves. We got home and he was so angry, so angry, yelling in my face. And one thing about me, I have so much trauma about yelling. He knows this, but always been the topic of conversation. My dad was so aggressive, and growing up in a household that is so aggressive and so violent and makes you fear for your own safety has created a trigger in me that I think will forever hold a place in my body. Any form of like yelling or aggression, especially when drunk, just triggers me so much. And I will never, ever, ever, ever yell. Like I would have to be in the utmost worst situation to be to have to yell. I just don't do it. He was yelling, and I was one. He has housemates. I was embarrassed. I ended up, I'm not talking to you while you were like this. I went and slept on the couch, and he came and followed me and was like still going at me. I ended up falling asleep on the couch. Didn't come get me. Like he left me there the whole night. Mind you, it's fucking freezing in Norway. I had the worst sleep ever, but I just felt like I needed to remove myself from that situation. I literally said to him, I'm getting a hotel tonight because this is like, I don't want to be in a position where I feel like I have to fear for my safety or feel scared. That's never a feeling I want opened up for me, ever, not with someone that's meant to make me feel so safe. That was like I think my eye-opening point where I was like, do I actually really want to be with this person? And we ended up working through it and talking about it. We spoke about it, and I told him, I think you need to like see somebody about all of this. We ended up finishing the rest of my trip in Norway, and we left. And I'm going to read you one text that he had sent to me. So this is what I mean when I say the things that he was doing was everything I'd ever asked and wished for. Like there is a reason why I fell so in love with him, because obviously when somebody sends this stuff to you, you're going to be like, this is my person. Like obviously. So he says, I just want to say I've had the best time having you here. Didn't know it was possible, but I've just fallen more and more in love with you. I don't think I can imagine how I want my future to look without you being in it. I love you so much, my boy. I'm sad, mad, and annoyed that this is our reality at the moment, but I just know we will have the strongest foundation once we get through this. I cannot wait for the next time I get to hug you, kiss you, and feel you. Have a safe flight, my one and only Billy boy. He knew every part of me on how to like really just feel that. And we want to accommodate for each other's love languages. And the way he would do that was just so special. It felt so fucking special. Like no one had ever accommodated for my love language ever before. And I fully was like, this is the love of my life. I thought this is like the type of love that you're gonna marry. And it wasn't until after that trip where I kind of, something was off. I think that anticipation that we were going to do so long distance, like it was like 3 or 4 months, but he was meant to see me in between that, which he didn't follow through with. It was like a lot on the relationship, and I think it was bound to kind of break at some point anyway. There was like situations where, this is after I'd left, he'd gone out and told me that somebody had like asked him to lean over to say something to him, and they pulled him in and kissed him. And I was like, what the fuck? Are you sure? Are you sure? Clearly grilling this man, because I'm like, that just does not seem right. There is no way that somebody's just grabbing a random and kissing them. Maybe they are. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. But it's still played in the back of my mind. I told my friends, and they were like, Bill, you're a fucking idiot for believing that. Like, and I kept asking him, is there anything I should know? Like, I just want honesty. Anything. No, nothing. We started getting to chats, and he started telling me that I was just a fuck to him when we first started dating. That was a very common thing in our relationship, was that the way we seen the start of our relationship was very different. And I can see that because he was obviously on exchange, studying abroad in Australia. I don't think he was looking to find love. But it still hurts. It still hurts that the meaning of what it meant to me just wasn't the same as what it was to him. And anytime we would discuss it and I'd say how it meant to me, it was so dismissive. It was like, he would just tell me like, that's not how it was. Like, you're delusional. That triggered me. Pretty much saying that you're delusional for feeling that on our first date. And it sent me into a massive spiral. And then he told me that us talking about having kids, mind you, one of his requirements for me to be eligible to be dating him, or anybody that dates him, is I need to have a sister so he can have kids, because he doesn't have a sister. He told me that it's scaring him. Mind you, we've been dating for what, like 3-4 months now at this point. And he's like, it's scaring me that like talking about kids or talking about anything serious. I was like, well, what the fuck? Like, we're in a serious relationship. Like, I'm not committing to somebody over this other side of the fucking world, you know, for you to move back over here and not be serious. What the fuck? All of that happened, and I ended up going to Melbourne for work, and I ended up spiraling. It was right when the cyclone happened. And my friend kind of got in my head that he's definitely cheated on you. Like, he's kissed somebody. He's lying to you. I'm not going to say that I was perfect in this relationship either. This is my first relationship. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. I fucked up as well in the relationship. Somebody had added me while I was in Melbourne. I added them back. Mind you, there was no sexual talk. There was no sexual images. There was none of that. None of that. It was just general conversation. And I think I've just felt so invalidated by him that I kind of outsourced that validation of just somebody wanting me. Also reached out to him in this time, like, I need you so much right now. And I still didn't get that effort. So that had happened. And then this person started taking things too far. So I removed them. They then messaged him 3 days later after I had removed them. Be like, your boyfriend is messaging me. I was at a birthday up in the sunny coast at this time. It was like a deleted message and then like a message of him just like coming at me, trying to get something out of me, like not telling me what had happened. I didn't feel like I did anything wrong in the moment. Like, I definitely felt like, okay, this has gone too far, removing this person. But I didn't feel like I cheated, or I didn't feel like I did the right thing by removing this person. And like, obviously two things can coincide in one thing, where, you know, you can betray somebody and still not fully cross that logistical line. And like, when I tell you, this boy did not talk to me for 3 days after this, it was the first shock that I got to my system of like, fuck, like, he can just walk away like that. Like, he just walk away like that. He doesn't even want to talk about it. He just wants to avoid and step away from me. And everybody has their ways of dealing with things. I understand that. But this just felt so like he was doing it on purpose. It felt like he knows that this is going to trigger me and he's doing this all on purpose. I still wanted to respect him and give him his space and let him think about whatever he needed to think about. But it started getting to like 3 days and I was like, this is a fucking long time. And I kind of got to the conclusion that if he was going to break up over this, then I don't want somebody in my life that's just like going to give up so easily. And I like obviously knew that I was in the wrong. Like I was the one that like initiated by adding them back. And I felt so guilty and so bad, but I couldn't express that to him. We ended up speaking. He'd sent me a breakup message. We called on the phone and I said to him what I wanted to say. And he was like, yeah, like, I don't think I mean the breakup message. Like, let's work through it. I just felt like this was a major part in the relationship where there was a power play. Like, he had the power and he had all the power to take that relationship away from me at any point and make me feel like it was my problem and my fault. There was a few little instances where I was like, this is like getting used against me now. Like, there's no moving forward from this. It's not healthy. We're not moving forward from this. We ended up like moving forward. I just like so wanted to repair things. I just so wanted it to work out. I really wanted there to be the light at the end of the tunnel. We were going like really well. And I started struggling, I guess, with things that were going on in my life. There were things that were happening that were kind of out of my control. It was coming up to a year of my mum passing away. It was a year since I moved away from her because I moved away a month before. And just like my body was remembering a lot of trauma and I was struggling so much. I was working so much. I had all of this head noise and I just felt like I could not put my time and energy into another person right now. And looking back, I wish I would have just said, I need you to show up for me for the next couple of weeks. Like, I don't want to go on a break, but just show up for me for the next couple of weeks because I can't show up. And I initiated going on a break because of all of that stuff. And I went to go see a psychic and stuff and talk to my mum and do all of this stuff. This happened like towards the middle of April. I needed to just be able to just like focus on me and just get my head back so I could show up in the relationship again. And he kept pushing it on me that I wanted to sleep with other people. I wanted to get affection and intimacy from other people. But after we had left like Norway, I'm going to show you this because this is going to be a vital part of what happens at the end. He goes, I completely understand that you have a deep need for physical intimacy and it's something we both value so much and something I love about our relationship when we're together. I also recognize that being apart makes that incredibly difficult. But for me, physical closeness isn't just about touch. It's about emotional connection, trust, and commitment. The idea of us allowing intimacy with other people is something I cannot accept. Not because I don't want to compromise, but because it would break me. It goes against what love means to me, and I can't force myself to be okay with something that would hurt me on such a deep level. Now, some context to this. My problem was never, ever being with other people. It was never, ever, ever wanted to be with other people. I missed that physical intimacy of like cuddling with him and just being with him and having him around and just everything about that is what I miss. And although this was a topic of conversation in the relationship, discovering on how this relationship could work, never was there a point where we were ever in an open relationship. Never. And if he has told you that, it's a lie. We have never, as you can see in that message, it was never ever a thing. And I always felt gaslit and manipulated into thinking that that's what I needed. But I didn't need that. I just needed somebody to show up for me. I just needed somebody to accommodate me and show that consistent effort in other ways. A lot of it, obviously, there was a time zone. It was so hard. Like, it is so complex and so hard. And this is what I mean why I didn't want to speak about it. But when you're getting called crazy for the shit that you find out, you're just like, okay, I feel like I need to say something. Decided that I needed to go on the break. After everything I've just listed, we went on the break. And let me just tell you, it took that man a week to hook up with somebody in the club. A week. And mind you, I didn't find out until 2 weeks after the initial break, where he was just getting so weird, like, who's in your bed? Who's in your bed? And I'm like, the fucking pillow. Like, there's nobody in my bed. What the fuck are you on about? And we called and I was like, did you get with somebody? Is this a projection? And he's like, you said we're not speaking about it. Because I told him, I have to be okay with the possibility of you being with somebody else if that is something that's going to happen. But if I prefaced that if you seeked out anything, went on dating apps, anything, it was done. It was done. That's cheating. We're only on the break right now. But I had to be okay that if he had been like gone to a club and ended up hooking up with somebody, I couldn't hold that against him if we were going to go into end the break and be back together. And obviously I know that. Like I know that although it's going to hurt regardless of what you come up with, I know that I just couldn't use that against him. And that would be a total different conversation that we would have to have if that was something he needed to seek. Because for me, I didn't need to seek anything. I didn't need to seek a cuddle. I didn't need to seek a handhold. I didn't need to seek a kiss. I didn't need to seek any of that. And this is any advice for anybody that is going to go on a break. Really know what you're going on the break for, because that shattered me. Shattered me, the thought of him getting with somebody else. Even though I told him like I didn't think I would care, because I needed to be okay with that. I clearly obviously fucking did. I was in love with this person. I obviously didn't break up with him. I said to him, you need to actually just figure out if this is what you want. Is a relationship with me, a relationship in general, something you're ready for and something that you want? Because I'm ready to commit. You're the love of my life. You're something so special. I'm not just going to give up. I'm not going to hold this against you. I'm not going to do any of that. But you just need to be committed to me. That's all I care about, is your honesty and your commitment. And he said he needed to think about it. It took this man so long to figure out if I was the one for him. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? The love of my life isn't going to take 4 fucking days to work out if I'm the right person for them. Absolutely not. And I started writing down all of like these things, like specific things. There's so much that happened in the fucking relationship. All these things in the notes are like things that reasons why I shouldn't be with my boyfriend. And if you ever have to make that note, then it's probably a sign that the relationship isn't for you, if I'm going to be totally honest. And I was just like, you know what? If I'm looking at my younger self, there's no way that I can allow my younger self to be in a relationship like this. I need to end it. And that's when I wrote the breakup message that I ended up reading to him on FaceTime. And he was like, yeah, I think like that's the best option. I agree. So we ended it mutually. It was all good until I went to Bali and he started posting about those intimate details about our relationship. And I was like, what the fuck? Mind you, yeah, I've done the podcast and I had made a video about it on TikTok, and I'd been documenting my breakup healing after, because I share my fucking life on the internet. That's what you signed up for. That's what you knew. I kept everything so respectful. So to see somebody else start commenting, like to see him comment such intimate personal details about our relationship just baffled me so much, and it hurt me so much. And I ended up breaking no contact, as I said before, to talk to him about that. And he deleted the comments. He said he regretted them. But the damage was done. People now know that. People now know things about our relationship and are twisting it because it's not what happened at all. So all of that happened. Still was so fucking respectful. The way that I would talk about our relationship, I was so much nicer than what I ever should have been, to be honest. After finding out what happened, more honest than what I should have ever fucking been. Not honest, more respectful. Oh my God, this is going to get me so angry. We had spoken talking about all of that stuff and spoken here and there. And I was just like, this just doesn't feel right. Like you are like, I just want to be with you right now. And obviously you go through that when you go through a breakup. And after all that happens, we tried to do no contact, but I was just like, do you think we're going to get back together? Like, is that like, are we waiting to get back together? Like just doing our own things? And we kind of just decided that, well, he had told me that we both have so much to work on and, you know, therapy for each other that we need to deal with on our own. And we were like, see what happens. If we're meant to be, we will be. I've seen all of those posts. Like I've already gone over kind of what had happened of him posting this Eurovision singer and just not putting any disclaimers out there or just nothing, just absolutely nothing. Like trying to speculate it so much. I think I was very understanding of it because I knew that my friend Tate, who is literally been my best friend for 2 years, he was constantly like in my videos, has been for years. People were speculating that I had cheated on my ex-boyfriend with Tate, which me and Tate have never, ever, ever, ever gotten together. Nothing. I'm not getting with him. It's not happening. Has never happened. He was already in Bali for his sister's wedding and he came over to our villa. We just did the same shit that we were doing for the last 2 years. I had blocked my ex on Instagram because every time I searched anybody up, he would always come up first and it just got to my head. And before I went to Bali, I'd blocked him. He knew that. I said, like, this is nothing personal. I just can't see it and I don't want to see it. Tate obviously came over to our villa in Bali. There was content that was posted with us of him in the back. And my ex had blocked me on Snapchat. So like the blocking kind of had like started. And I think when you go through a breakup, you always anticipate someone's going to move on. Something's going to happen. And I knew that my ex was a severe avoidant. And I kept seeing these videos of them being like, yeah, they'll move on really fast. They'll try and fill that void. All of these things. I didn't realize how much it would affect me. And to see it happen so fast, threw me into another dimension. Ended up messaging him and breaking no contact after seeing those posts. And I was quite nice, but I was very stern in saying that I felt disrespected, that this has to be done so soon and that not everything has to be on the internet. And I guess it's something I learned going through the breakup that people are so invested in our lives, like crazily invested, and to have all plastered online and to post somebody so soon when you'd only met them for I think that was actually the first time they met them, because when I spoke to him on Saturday, they'd only ever met a week ago. So the fact that he's posting this guy so soon, I can't help but feel like there's like an ulterior motive out of it. I made that video, and then I think a lot of speculation started about him and his intention with this new guy. Because this new guy was a Eurovision singer, performed for Eurovision this year. And my ex just had this fascination about wanting to do social media. And it happens with me, with anybody that comes into my life. They see how cool my life is, or they see how enticing it is. Because I'm going to use the word enticing because it's not, I wouldn't say it's a dream. It's not a dream. There's a lot of dark, hard things that come with this job. Not physically, but mentally, behind the scenes. There's a lot of shit that you probably really would rather run away from than actually be involved in. There were arguments that we would have where we would film a video on TikTok, Instagram, whatever. I would, do a get ready with us, and I wouldn't tag him, or I wouldn't tag him in the Instagram story. And he would get upset at me, and I could never understand why he would get upset. I'll keep asking, and then he'll be like, well, it's unfair if the video does well and you get the followers and I don't, if it's got me in it. And I was like, the fuck? Like, what? I think I ended up just being like, bro, I'm not tagging you. Like, if you want followers, go make your own videos, mate. Go do that by yourself. You don't need to use me to get that. He came to like my work Christmas party, which is like my agent's Christmas party. Just like was like constantly messaging her and like talking to her about being signed and doing this and doing social media. And I think it just started clicking to me that all of these times of him wanting to do social media, mind you, also he broke his phone and he didn't want to use his phone to post on TikTok, and he used it solely to post TikToks on because it had Australian's algorithm on it. He has 2 TikTok accounts. And I was like, that is so random. Like if there's something that you're thinking about and caring about, is about like what algorithm you're on. And I just like remember like a few things were just adding up. And I think when you do post your partner online, it can get too much, and it can get more enticing than the reality of the relationship. And obviously I've posted with people in the past, both beneficially and, genuinely. And by beneficially, I mean like mutual agreement that like the views do well. That's why like that we post. But this was such a genuine relationship that I did not want that to get in the way of our relationship. I remember like some brands reached out to him after, like, obviously he built a little following, and some brands reached out to him like wanting to do some paid, and I helped him with that. While I was in Norway, on like how to pitch and how to rates to like charge and all of that stuff. To see him post another boy who's got a following so soon when you've only just met them rang alarm bells. And I really hope that wasn't the reason why he started posting this guy, because I think this guy's young. He doesn't deserve that, and nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves to be used. A genuine connection is what any human being fucking deserves. And I made that video, and you know what? This is where I'm going to go into it, where thank fuck I made that video. Everything happens for a reason. Because when I tell you the amount of DMs I got about people telling me that he cheated on me while we were together was absolutely baffling. This is something that happens in like any relationship I'm in, any friendship, anything. There's always rumors. It's kind of something that happens with the job. People will make up rumors and say things that aren't true, and you kind of take it with a grain of salt. And I did take most of them with a grain of salt. You kind of just like, whatever, like that didn't happen. I trust my partner. And there's like obviously there was times where if I was with my friends that people would be like, oh my God, I seen him holding hands at Belly Hill with his mate. Like, the fuck? That never happened. But they would message him and say that. So you take everything with a fucking grain of salt because a lot of it's not true. And it wasn't until I got one message from somebody, and there was one particular person that, like, you wouldn't know unless you knew the inner circle of friends of his. And I was like, what the fuck? And he'd seen my video and he messaged me telling me how I was ruining what the beautiful relationship once was by doing this online. Mind you, I was just defending myself and asked people not to fucking send it to me because I didn't want to see it for my own mental health. And I sent it to him and I was like, what is this? Please fucking tell me. What the fuck is this? And he's like, I haven't gotten with that person since February last year before me and you were together. He did this, this, and this. Like, there's been nothing ever since then. And I was like, whatever. I don't really fucking believe you, but whatever. Hold your fucking horses. Everything happens for a motherfucking reason. That's for sure. Where are these screenshots? I'm going to show you the screenshots. And you know what? I'm even going to post them on the Patreon. And this whole time I'm posting this to my close friends because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, another one. Thank you. Another cheating allegation. Thank you. This guy messages me. He asked me if me and my ex were in an open relationship. And I was like, what the fuck? No, we were never in an open relationship. I get the fucking infamous message. And they said, I don't want to open any old wounds, but you deserve the truth. I have known brother for do I say his name? Fuck it. I have known brother for a few years and we've always had a friendship with benefits. In February, mind you, he left on the 15th of January from my house to go back to Norway. In February, when he came home from Australia, we slept together and he assured me that you guys had an open relationship. But even then, I felt disgusted about my actions. I felt like there was something fishy about what he said. He has always been truthful as long as I've known him. I couldn't help but ask for my own sake and yours to find out the truth. And I want to keep this person anonymous because they are a godsend for fucking messaging me. All I needed was one bit of evidence where I could be like, you fucking cheated. That's all I wanted. It's all I needed. Everything else, I just physically couldn't believe because I know how much it happens to me and how much it happens to everybody else in this industry. That's hard to fucking believe. I asked them, I needed to know what date it happened. I needed to know where it happened, what happened, how it happened. Anyway, he goes, I see if I can find any proof. I'm pretty sure it was on the 26th of January. I understand that you need proof and that this is difficult for you. I'll update you. And he goes, I didn't find anything. He changed the chat to delete after 24 hours when he was at my place. And I think to recall that he had froze his snap maps. I just confronted him about it and he's trying to call me. He sends me a screenshot of my ex spam calling him after he confronted him. So the 26th of January, let's listen to this. I did originally want to talk about this when I had processed this fully. And I don't think I'm ever fully going to process this because I still can't. I mean, man's gone fucking ghost town, hasn't he? I don't hear him. Like, he seems not wanting to reply or have the morality to even acknowledge it. Anyway, I asked this guy to record it. I asked him to record the conversation. And he did! He recorded the whole fucking conversation. Everything. Absolutely everything I needed to know. This conversation is in Norwegian. So I'm tech savvy. I will find out fucking anything. And I got it translated, all of that stuff, paid for it, mind you. Paid to get it fucking fully translated. It's pretty much telling him how he didn't want to get involved in this at all, but he feels like he's been lied to and he feels gross about it. And my ex replied back and goes, this is exactly the case when I told you, referring to the open relationship. What we did, there wasn't anything that broke any rules. Apparently, sleeping with another man 2 weeks before I fucking get there and fly across the world is not breaking any rules. Apparently. Mind you, let me reread where he says, for me, physical closeness isn't just about touch. It's about emotional connection, trust, and commitment. Having intimacy with other people is something I cannot accept. Not because I don't want to compromise, but because it would break me. He sent that after he'd fucking cheated on me. where now a lot of this is making sense, but it's like, this is all a whole lot of projection. And I guess this is what happens when somebody cheats and they feel guilty and they obviously don't want anything to interfere with their personal character or their reputation or who they are as a person, which is really scary. And I think if the truth is so scary, then there's a fucking problem and there's some accountability to have. And this whole time, all I wanted was the truth. I just wanted to hear it from him. This is a person I loved so fucking much that when I would beg and beg and beg for him to tell me if anything had happened, he would lie to my fucking face, straight to my face. It baffles me how you can say all of these things and tell me how deeply you love me and deeply you can't wait for us to be back together and how we have such strong foundations, yet you can't even be honest with yourself about what you did. And now, obviously, after finding out all of this, I have been spammed with comments after all of that. I have had videos pop up of me of the fan edits and all these questions. And yeah, I've said, he cheated. He cheated. I have replied to comments about the truth. To now actually have the evidence and the truth in front of me, I still struggle to believe it, that he's capable of it. But the actions after I confronted him, oh my God, are you ready? So I ended up confronting. I probably shouldn't not have done this. But when I tell you, I was beyond fuming, absolutely fuming. And I'd messaged him to say how disappointed I am in him. And if he could just tell me the truth. If you tell me the truth, I literally gave him a proposition that if you tell me the truth right now from your own mouth, the receipts I have, everything I have, I will not ever post on the internet. Never will I post a receipt on the fucking internet if you just tell me the truth. I received an essay and he sent me a whole fucking essay where he had threatened me with legal action. He still did not admit to fucking anything. And that's when I told him about who he cheated on me with, what day it was, what evidence I had, and that if he cannot be honest, then I will send it directly to him right now. And he told me that I was threatening him because you didn't even give me time to give you a response to these accusations before writing about it online. So how exactly is it going to help to have a conversation with you? You have shown that whatever I say, you'll twist into your own narrative. This man has had since January 26th to tell me that you cheated on me. And I just think I've never been in a position to ever be cheated on or experience this. And to experience it, I'm just what the fuck? This has actually baffled me beyond anything I've ever believed about our relationship or the book, the letters, everything. And to see comments about me being crazy for feeling betrayed or feeling upset about your actions is the whole reason why I'm doing this podcast and telling the truth, because I protected this person for so long and I don't want to protect them anymore. My truth is worth so much more than any repercussions of whatever comes out of this podcast. I tried to be really respectful, and I think it just gets to a point where I'm still human, and there's only so much I can take, and only so much emotional damage that I can take from online and from this person. And ever since those last messages, I've not heard from him at all. Heard nothing since I sent him that message. He has messaged the guy that he cheated on me with, telling him how he shouldn't be getting involved and he doesn't know the dynamics of our relationship. And he's upset that he filmed that conversation. I think this is just the realization of who the fuck did I date? Who the fuck did I think I was going to marry? Who the fuck, what? It's just wacky Jackie, plain old face smacky in my face. I'm what the hell is this? And I don't want somebody else to ever go through something like this. I don't want somebody else to find out. Nobody should ever find out about cheating. This has actually changed my whole perspective on life and relationships and emotions. It has just hit me so deep that I'm even like ashamed of the things I've done in the past to people, you know, that have been in relationships and my outlook on it. And that's part of growing. That's the human experience. But like, it just like, once you actually go through it, you're like, fuck. I'm so grateful for the lessons I learned. I mean, I had to go back to therapy after this, and the things I learned and what I've also learned from the relationship itself and my own value has only increased from this. And whoever does get that part of me is so fucking lucky. So lucky. And I now have the wisdom and the life experience and tools to make sure that hopefully this never fucking happens again. And I think it goes to show true love is tested after the breakup. If someone truly loves you, treating a breakup is like treating the relationship. That person is still that person that you once loved and cared for. And like I said before, like, and the realization I came to, like, your dream person will never, ever make you question if you're right for them. And if anyone can have your man or woman, it was never yours in the first place. They can have them. They can have them. I feel so good just to get this off my chest, to finally have the truth out there. No, if anybody calls me fucking crazy, they can listen to this podcast and tell me if I'm the crazy one. Because I don't think it's me. I think the call's coming inside the house. And once you hear and listen to the stuff that I went through and what I've been through, you too will probably have a very different outlook. And this is a true representation. Don't believe everything you see on the internet. People's lives may look glamorous. They may look so good. 100% of the time, it is never how you see it on the internet. I don't care. There is no relationship on the internet that is exactly the same on the internet as it is in person. I hope anybody going through a breakup is giving them the space and the time that they need for yourself, giving yourself the space and the time that you need, because it is so hard. It's so gut-wrenching. And I'm so sorry for anybody that is going through heartbreak. It's the fucking worst. And I don't want to talk about this subject anymore. I want to put it behind me. I may be petty. I might post a TikTok 2 or 3. I don't care. Let me just tell you, look after yourself. And if you want to see the evidence, if you want to see the screenshots, go subscribe to the Patreon. I'll be posting them there. I don't give a fuck anymore. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. And I'll see you again next week. Bye.